Of course, those numbers starting to come in, and I know, Michael, you're closely watching Congressional District 3. We have some new numbers we want to share.
Yeah, and this was a tight race in 2022, and we expect it to be another tight race this year. It pits Democrat Adam Frisch against Republican Jeff Hurd in what may be the most rural district in all of Colorado, and you can see those numbers right now. The Republican Jeff Hurd, those numbers just updating on your screen with an early lead, still a tight race, 50% of the vote in favor of Hurd, Frisch with 47% of the vote. We want to get live to your reporter, Sarah Horbakowitz, who is with the Hurd campaign tonight and has the opportunity to talk with Jeff Hurd right now. Sarah?
Yeah, not only am I with the campaign, but I'm with the man himself right now. We just talked about those close results. How are you feeling right now?
Well, it's certainly close, but I'm still cautiously optimistic. I think there's a lot of votes to count, and I think we can get this done if our returns show what I hope they will.
Now, we were predicting that this would be a tight race, and you said earlier you weren't taking anything for granted. How has that impacted your campaign strategy?
Well, we've been reaching every voter that we can, however we can, through door knocks, phone calls, text message, campaign events. We're not taking any county for granted. We're not taking any vote for granted, and so we've been as comprehensive as we can throughout this campaign, and we continue that until about 2 hours ago.
And a lot of this is going to replace Lauren Boebert's seat. And so what have those conversations been like? Have people been asking you, what's the difference?
Well, certainly our style is going to be different, but what I tell them also is she's moving to a rural district, and I'm hoping to represent a rural district as well, and she and I are going to be fighting together in Congress to help small families or small businesses and families and communities in rural Colorado succeed and thrive. So I expect on lots of issues, she and I are going to be fighting for rural Colorado.
And you've spoken a lot about energy and your campaign as well. Tell me a little bit more on your stance on those issues, how you would roll back some of those regulations.
Sure. Well, I say that bad energy policy here in the state of Colorado and our country effectively operates as kind of a regressive tax on the poor and on the working class. We do everything we can to grow energy production here in Colorado and domestically in the country to help lower not only energy costs, but the cost of what you pay for your grocery bills, what you pay at the gas pump, and also what you pay in your monthly utility bills.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Now, of course, this is still a close race that we will be watching all night. Hoping to hear from you a little more later. But for now, in Grand Junction, Sarah Horbakowitz covering Colorado First. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Sarah, thank you so much. And from the Republican side of that race to the Democratic side of that race, our reporter in the mountains, Spencer Wilson, is with the Frisch campaign in Aspen. And Spencer, you have a chance to talk with the man himself.
Absolutely. We had a quick conversation down there, but we're bringing him live to you now, Adam Frisch. Adam, can you explain to me, you were on a big old road trip with your son, touring all these different locations within your district. What was one of the big aspects that really struck these people as important to bring to the rest of the state that they may not understand?
Yeah, no, I think people understand cost of living and how expensive everything is. And, you know, I think what people don't realize is it's not just their own personal family, but Southern and Western Colorado are making 20 to 30% less in the same wages for the same profession than people in the big cities. And that really hurts people a lot, and people in Denver don't understand that things are not just cheaper out here in the rural parts of our state. We just have fewer options for childcare, fewer options for health care, fewer options for insurance, home insurance as well as healthcare insurance. That's number one. That comes up all the time. I think making sure that we have a strong domestic energy program as well. I mean, I think there's a whole conversation about producers not being respected in Colorado. Whether you're producing energy on the Western Slope, whether you are producing food and agriculture and ranching down in the San Luis Valley, or if you're producing steel in Pueblo. People just feel left out of that conversation. There's so much focus on that Denver metro area that people just have a real frustration. Anglos, Latinos, liberals, Democrats, Republicans, independents, it doesn't matter. There's just this great state of Denver conversation going on all the time, and people feel left out of that conversation. They don't want to be in the big city, but they do not want to be treated with disrespect that they feel happens a lot.
When we were just down there, we talked about the potential for a very close race here.
Yeah.
We now have actual ballots in there. I'm sure you've seen them. What do you think?
I mean, I don't crunch the numbers like some of the people on our team do and like my son does, but listen, we've always assumed that, you know, we thought it was going to be a close race in 2022. We surprised a lot of people. I don't think people are surprised that we're having a close race. We've worked very, very hard. There's a lot of issues out there that we share some of the same kind of concerns about. We've just focused on showing up and being a very independent voice. And I think that's something that a lot of people relate with. People are exhausted with the national political conversation, and I think they appreciate showing up as well, big time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm Frisch, and we'll get back to you guys. We're going to be hitting that refresh button on our own polls here, just like he mentioned earlier in our conversation, trying to see the very latest in those polls, but we'll pitch it back to you guys live in Aspen. Spencer Wilson, covering Colorado First.
All right, Spencer, we'll check in with you in just a little bit.